Hello everyone, welcome to this session on how to prepare notes of static books and static topics. I am Mudit Jain. I am IRS of 2018 batch. Before joining IRS, I was probationer in Indian Police Service for a couple of batches. I am author of DECODE Ethics book that has previous year papers from 2013 to 19 solved by 25 officers. It is also useful for state PSEs like Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, MP, etc. So let us get to the topic of the session, that is how to prepare static notes. Now, if you have seen my previous video of how and why to prepare current affair notes, then you must be knowing the why part of it already. That is that notes are required because the syllabus is too huge. You need to revise the syllabus. Prelims accuracy matters only if you have revised the syllabus, blah blah blah. So I won't repeat the why part of it here. Let us straight get to the point, that is how you should make notes. Now there are two parts of this video. The first part is how to make notes of static books. So before getting into how about the books, let us see which books you have to make notes of. So aspirants have habit of committing a mistake, that is either they simply don't make notes, or if they start making notes then they make notes of every XYZ book that they read. So both are fatal. What is important is that you have to make notes, but then you have to be selective about making notes. So we will make notes only for those subjects that will help us in mains. For example, if there is a topic like ancient and medieval, and that topic gets around one or two questions max out of 250 marks in GS1 every year. So cost benefit analysis of making notes of ancient and medieval is very less when we compare it to cost benefit analysis of making notes for geography or say modern history, which have 6, 7, 8 questions every year. So we have to be smart. We do not have to be only hard worker, we have to be smart. So I'll give you a list of topics or books for which you have to make notes. That is, for GS1, see we have history, geography and society. You can skip ancient and medieval. For rest of the topics of all the three subjects, that is history, geography and society, you have to make notes because this will be helpful in mains. So as I already said, idea should not be just to make blatant notes, but we have to make notes only of those topics which will at the end of the day help us in mains. No investment should go waste. That is the idea. Secondly, you have to make notes of polity. Lakshmikant is a very heavy book in itself. I know that aspirants always say that if you start making notes out of Lakshmikant, that then you will make note of every single line because each line appears to be important. But then back then during my preparation I made 96-page notes of Lakshmikant. Unfortunately I lost them, so they are not on my WordPress blog. But then note making of polity is very important because it will be helpful not only in pre but also for mains. Then IR, you know, is in GS2 notes are required. The two topics for which notes are not required at all are environment, that is Shankar book, and for Sri Ram book. I am not saying that notes are not required for economy, but what I am saying is that you do not require to make static notes of economy and environment because the questions in GS3 are not that static from economy and environment portion. As far as I remember, once in 2016, if I am not wrong, there was a question on allelopathy that was in GS3 environment, and that is mentioned in agriculture chapter of Shankar book. So still I'll say that note making for these two books or subjects are not required. What you require for them is a list of keywords that will be helpful in GS3 answer writing. So be smart, be choosy. So this is the which part of it, which books you require to make notes of. Now let us get to the part, that is how you should make static notes out of these books. Again, there are two parts to it. For example, if a book is available only in hard copy, that is say my Decode Ethics book, it is available in hard copy only, ebook version is not available, then the only choice you have is to make handwritten notes of such book. But if there are books like NCERTs which are freely available in downloadable PDF formats, then I'll advise is that download the PDFs and make soft copy notes as I advised you already for current affairs. So now let us get to the process. When you see a book, when you read it for the first time, don't make notes out of it. If you make notes out of a book in the first reading itself, then you will end up noting down every damn thing of a book, because you won't be aware about much written in the book. So just go through the book during the first read. First read should always be a stock taking exercise. During the second read of the book, underline the important lines, and during the third read of the book, make notes out of it. So once you start reading a book, do not start reading another book or another subject. So for example, if you are reading Decode Ethics book, in my view it should take you around 7 days to give it a first reading. Then for 7 days take a first read. For next 2-3 days you take second read and mark the important lines, and then again next 2-3 days dedicate to notes making. So this way you can have a structured study. You can focus on one subject at a time, and then you will ensure that in next once you start a subject and when you finish it after say 10-12 days, you have the notes ready with you. So next time you do not have to even look at the book, you have the notes, just revise your notes. So also the process also includes that you should have target of making notes of say 70 pages or 50 pages or 60 pages per day, else the note making exercise will go on, and it will become tedious, and it will take a huge toll on you, and you will end up stopping the exercise itself. So have a target of every day or week. Apart from that, use different color pens if you are making handwritten notes, or if you are making soft copy notes, then it is very easy to change font colors, especially for pre-specific facts. As I already told you in current affair video, pre-specific facts can be noted by different color pens. Also it gives a good look and feel. While making notes, ensure that you are segregating them in headings, and use points and bullets, as I already told in current affairs video, because in mains you will be writing answers in points, 10, 12, 15, 20 points, and if your notes are already in points and you have revised them 4 or 5 or 6 times, then it would become very easy for you to reproduce those points in the exam. Also for subjects like ethics, geography, do take note of the diagrams, because as I told that once your notes are ready, you won't be looking back at the book. But then if you haven't drawn diagrams in your notes, then it will serve half purpose, because diagrams are very important in ethics and geography. So draw diagrams. If possible, you can take cutout of diagram from the book and paste in your notes. Also a very important fact, a query was asked by aspirants that how should we link current affair notes with static notes. Now see, if you are reading a static topic from ethics, say social influence, and these days coronavirus news, you must be aware that many celebrities are appealing people in all sort of ways to stay at home. So this example can be easily used in social influence. So make a note of such current issues, current examples along with your static notes. Always leave a margin on left or right side of your handwritten notes where you can jot down such issues from current affairs. So this will help you in interlinking current and static parts of your syllabus. After you are done with this note making exercise, forget the book. You have to revise from your notes only. While revising from notes, I'm sure there must be, if there are 20 lines in a page, there must be 10 lines which are which are ingrained in you, which you do not tend to forget easily. But then there are 10 lines which you might forget every now and then. Underline those lines, focus on those lines, use highlighters, use color pens and underline them again and again, so that during your final revision just before exam, you are focusing on points that you find tough to remember. So this is the exercise of how you should make notes of static books. Now let us come to the second part of the video, that is how you should make notes of static topics of syllabus. Now let me first explain you what I mean by static topics of syllabus. There are topics in GS2 like poverty, hunger, education, NPO, RPA, etc. And in GS3 like in agriculture there is topic of cropping patterns, agricultural missions, technological missions. In security there are topics related to cyber security, cyber threats, etc. These are static topics of syllabus, but the question that is asked in exam is always linked with current. Nobody will ask you a plain question on robotics, what is a robot, but they will ask you question on robotics which is linked with say virtual reality or artificial intelligence, which are current based topics. So in exam, if you do not know that particular question on robotics, but you know for certain, you're sure that this question is from robotics, and if you have static notes prepared for that question, you will be able to write at least something in exam. So the whole idea of making notes of such topics is to prepare a fodder, prepare a base with yourself of at least 10, 15 or 20 points which you will be using in exam. So I have told you the topics. Other topics can be read from the syllabus. Now let us come to the how part of it. As I've already stated, what we need is 10, 15 or 20 points for these topics, subtopics. That is, we need notes of 2 or 3 pages, not more than that. Ensure that this exercise has a limit to it, because if you start making notes of say irrigation topic, it should not run into 4, 5 or 6 pages. Then the whole purpose of it will be a faulty one. So make concise yet comprehensive notes so that the exercise is not tedious. Now what we have to do while making these notes is that we have to cover aspects like what, why, where, how, positives, negatives, the challenges, the solutions or the schemes of government, and the schemes of the government, diagrams and way forward. I'll repeat again: what, why, how, where, positive, negative, solution, schemes, challenges, diagrams and way forward. So these are 9 or 10 dimensions. If you have covered these 9 or 10 dimensions, I am sure your notes will stretch to 2 or 3 pages and you will end up having 15 or 20 points for a particular topic. This is all that you need to do. So this is the this is the aspects part of it. Now the final part is where will you get the material for these static topics. Again, there are 2 ways to it. First is the ready-made coaching material available in market, and second is your self-made material. It is your wish, but then I'll strictly advise you to not follow ready-made coaching material available in market, because most of these materials are just too heavy and they are good for nothing. Even if you end up reading these materials for a week, entire week, even if you make notes out of them, their quality is simply not good enough to fetch you good marks in your exam. So here I'll advise you to do some hard work, to do some research. I'm not asking you to write a research paper in itself, but then a small research will help you go a long way. So what we have to do is select a topic, say transparency of GS2. Now go to any newspaper website. In their search box type transparency, enter. There will be n number of articles that will come as results on transparency. Use filter, say filter of last 5 years or 10 years. Then again filter say opinion, that is editorials. You can also filter authors if the facility is available. I'm sure then you will have a list of 10 or 12 articles. Read a few articles, 4 or 5 articles. It will not take more than 1 hour, and just note the aspects that I already told you. editorials are a very good source to find the information related to the aspects that I mentioned, that is what, why, how, positive, negatives, challenges, etc. And these are the aspects that UPSC focuses in questions, not the ready-made material, coaching material aspects. So it is a very good exercise. It will take max 1 hour for a topic, for a subtopic, but then at the end of the day you can cover 10 topics if you are sitting straight for 10 hours, and you will have an excellent original material. Also, say if I am an examiner checking UPSC paper, I have checked 100 copies today. If 50 out of them are writing the same answers, directly copy paste from coaching material, I lose interest in the answer. And suddenly when I find a unique answer, that is possible only because of unique material, then I'll be attracted to it, and it is human tendency to give more marks in that. So it is in your hands. You can do it. You can score much more if your material is unique. My notes are uploaded on my blog, that is Mudit Jain blog. You can download from there. If you have any queries, do write them in the comment section. Thank you.